Folks, people are tired of Donald Trump. They're tired of him. And when I say people, I don't just mean Democrats, and I don't just mean independents. I mean MAGA. I mean Republican voters are tired of Donald Trump. They're exhausted. They are burnt out on this guy just every single day, getting on television and just saying the craziest shit. And I mean, this even extends to members of the Trump administration, right? Here is I don't know. Here's the deputy director of the FBI talking with reporters here.
Also have new reporting along with Carol Leonnig that Deputy FBI Director Jan Bongino says he'll leave his job early in the new year. What can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right. Bongino has told a number of colleagues and his close staff that he's gone, essentially. He's going to announce it fairly soon. We've reported that some of his effects have been moved out of his office. That's according to more than 8 people that we've talked to. Look, everybody I've spoken to at the FBI believes he's...
Maybe he's just really sick of Kash Patel. Remember he was complaining earlier this year about his office, and like, you can hear everything Kash Patel is doing.
Gone. He didn't comment on it. But look, he's been an incredibly controversial pick for deputy director. That's a job that's has always in history been reserved for a career FBI agent.
Yeah, look at him. He looks so fucking miserable.
Dan Bongino was not that. He was a Secret Service agent for a while, and then he became a right-wing podcaster. He was not popular inside the FBI. He was not popular with the Justice Department and with Attorney General Pam Bondi, and they had some clashes over the handling of the Epstein files. And now it appears that he is gone. One thing he can point to, he did try to put pressure on the FBI to try to solve the case of the pipe bombs planted outside RNC and DNC headquarters before January 6th, and the Bureau did solve that case based on career investigators. So he is taking credit for that. I should say, though, that the suspect that they've arrested and named does not support the conspiracy theories that Bongino was advocating as a podcaster when he said that the FBI knew things that it wasn't disclosing and that it was a quote-unquote inside job. There's no evidence of that, Chris.
Ken Delanian, thank you.
I just, I couldn't happen to a worse guy. I'm glad. Look, and he's not the only one leaving this administration. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking to CNN about her departure and her perspective on what the GOP base really feels towards Donald Trump and this administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene warns the dam is breaking in the GOP and slams Trump for being tone deaf on multiple issues. So, let's see. We don't need a full interview here. I thought the statement, Rob Reiner, was completely below the office of the President of the United States, classless, and it was just wrong. MAGA faithful reacted big time and they called it out, she said. I think the dam is breaking, she warned, pointing to recent Republican breaks with Trump. Last week, 13 House Republicans, a rare rebuke of the president, voted with Democrats to restore collective bargaining rights he had stripped from about 1 million federal workers earlier this year. Quote, those 13 Republicans that voted to take down his executive order last week, literally that same evening, put on their tuxedos and their evening ball gowns and went to the White House Christmas party. That's pretty bold, Greene told Collins. In the same week, Indiana Senate Republicans rejected Trump's push to redraw the state's congressional districts to produce 2 more GOP-friendly seats. But that is a sign where you're seeing Republicans, they're entering the campaign phase for 2026, which is a large signal that lame duck season has begun, Greene said. He's got real problems with Republicans within the House and the Senate that will be breaking with him on more things to come. And she's right. She is very correct. It is going to get closer and closer and deeper into the conservative election season, and every single conservative that is up for re-election or is going to be running a campaign understands that the only way they are going to get elected is if they break with Donald Trump. And that's a huge problem for Donald Trump. Because if you got people on the local and the state and the national level all running about how you suck and being unwilling to take action alongside you, you're done. You're toast. The Georgia Republican, who has long been one of Trump's most ardent supporters before their recent falling out, cautioned that two more issues threaten to derail her party's hopes for the midterm elections: affordability, which Trump has called a Democrat hoax, and health insurance. Which, yeah, here's the shocking secret, okay? I don't know if any of you know this. Republicans don't have a healthcare solution. They don't have one. Ever since Obamacare, Republicans have been promising that they're going to figure out a healthcare solution of their own. And oddly enough, even a decade out from Obamacare's passage, we don't have a Republican plan. And if you're wondering why that is, and why Donald Trump seems to be stuck on concepts of a plan, well, it's because Obamacare was the conservative healthcare plan. Obamacare got its start as Romney Care. It was literally a Heritage Foundation project. It's the result of a Republican think tank coming up with the Republican version of, as an alternative to the public option. And because Obama passed it, every single Republican since has tried to destroy it. People don't remember this, but after Obama passed it, there were something like 70 votes by Republicans to try and repeal Obamacare. And part of the issue that they ran into was there was no viable alternative. Costs were going to continue to rise. And if you got rid of MAGA, it was going to, or not MAGA, if you got rid of Obamacare, the price was just going to wildly increase for people to even be able to afford health insurance. And so the issue that they've run into here is that the Republican alternative is now just, what if you didn't have health care at all? What if instead health insurance companies could just charge you whatever they wanted? Wouldn't that save you money? And basically every single person with even a quarter of a brain who encounters this concept recognizes, no, that actually wouldn't save me money, because we're seeing what's happening now with just getting rid of the subsidies, and people's health insurance prices are going up in some cases 6 times what they were this year. And so a lot of folks are seeing these subsidies go up in flames, and they're suddenly panicking because they might now need to spend thousands of dollars every month just to keep their healthcare. And most people are just going to not have healthcare anymore. They're just not going to be able to afford healthcare. Period. And the other thing is affordability. It's intimately tied with health insurance, because if your health insurance premiums go up to, $2,000-$3,000 a month to keep your family insured, it suddenly becomes a question of, do you pay your mortgage or do you have health insurance? You literally can't afford to live. And it doesn't have to be this way. This is one of the reasons why folks need to start talking more and more. And I'm firmly in the camp that believes Democrats need to start talking more and more about Medicare for all. We need to reintroduce Medicare for all as a talking point, because guess what, folks? If we want to care about affordability in this country, getting healthcare free for every American takes so much off the table. It allows people to do so much more with the money they make. Okay? It frees up businesses from paying for health insurance for their employees. It frees up individuals for getting health insurance for their families. And instead, we all just pay our fair share and everyone is insured. Everyone is insured. And not only that, it actually saves us all money. It is cheaper to do Medicare for all. It is more cost effective to do Medicare for all. You know why? Because we don't have to pay for marketing, because there's just Medicare for all. You don't have to do marketing. You don't have to duplicate bureaucracy. You don't have to run at a profit. And all of that is going to save us money. we can provide for each other without some middleman, extorting us for our ability to live our lives. And guess what? When all of us are covered by Medicare for all, that means all of us can get preventative health care, which means all of us can stop like small health problems before they become emergency health problems. So when I end every segment these days, almost every segment these days, asking you guys to radicalize your local Dems and to make your local DSA more effective. And one of the things I want you guys to start bringing to your local DSA and to your local Dems is the need to begin pushing for Medicare for all. Not just on like a one-off senator like Bernie Sanders pushing for it every so often, but we need to start making that demand on the local level so that it percolates up through the party and becomes the commonplace rallying cry. All right? So when I say radicalize your local Dems to better policies, that's what I'm talking about. Make Medicare for all one of those better policies. And if you need help doing that, join our Discord, reach out to Dragonfly. Dragonfly will help you to radicalize your local Dems. She's been working on it for years. She knows how to do it. Let's all just learn and then do it ourselves. Because no one is going to come and save us. No one is going to come and do that job for us. It is us or it is nothing. So go and do it. Make the time if you gotta. And, of course, we're not done yet. Because as much as it's interesting that Dan Bongino is leaving the Trump administration because he's just so out of it. He's just so done with everything that Donald Trump is doing. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is just like wiping her hands, washing her hands of it, going home, taking a little breather while the GOP falls apart during the midterms. Same with a few other members of Congress. But MAGA voters and people who are plugged into GOP politics, average working people, are also over it. And this is just an incredible couple of minutes from a new show that Megyn Kelly launched called The Megyn Kelly Wrap-Up Show, which is hosted by Emily Jashinsky. There we go. Who I believe hosts a show with Ryan Grimm over on The Hill. But check this out. This is insane. I've never heard anything like this.
Jill in Indiana, you're on the Megyn Kelly Wrap-Up Show. What's on your mind this afternoon?
Hi, just sort of glomming on here, but it matters to me what Donald Trump said, and I'm deeply disappointed. If we value human life as Christians and Americans, then this stuff, it's indefensible to sort of gloat like right after someone dies like that, just for having a difference of opinion.
I'm very disappointed in President Trump. I voted for him 3 times. I still love him as my president, but it was wrong what he did. He should have just kept his mouth shut after the first paragraph. I don't know why he had to bring that up. It was a tragedy, and I didn't like Rob Reiner as a person. Politics. He was really, really sometimes very virulent from what he was saying about the right, and particularly about Trump too, of course. However, I mean, it really hurts me to the core what happened to him. And I think as a human being, anyone has to be just sad about what happened and not bring politics into it. And Trump just doesn't know when to stop.
I would just like to say that we have a God-fearing president, and he talks about the power of prayer and praying for victims and on and on and on. So let's act like that, President Trump. I voted for you. This is the most sacred season of the year. Turn the other cheek like Christ would.
I will tell you that I've been a Republican my entire life. I voted for Trump twice. I don't consider myself a MAGA Republican, but I do consider myself a conservative. And I think this comment that he made, this post, reminds me a little bit of when Walter Cronkite made an announcement talking about the Vietnam War to the American people, saying if we, and Lyndon Johnson said, if I've lost Walter, I've lost the country. I really think that Trump's comment has just officially put that nail in the coffin.
I just got to say, I mean, we're not conducting a scientific poll here on the Megyn Kelly Wrap-Up Show, but the callers today, our phone lines have genuinely not lit up like this before.
I mean, look, definitely not a scientific poll. But taking the data points together here, Donald Trump is at the least popular he's ever been. On some of his key issues, he is at all-time lows of popularity. Like, we're talking like getting close to Nixon leaving office levels. I think we're only like a couple percentage points above that. Like, and the issue is some people are like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It does kind of matter because those people have elected representatives who want to keep their jobs after the going into the midterms and into 2028. No Republican, it's the same reason all those Republicans voted to release the Epstein files. Almost every single one of them. Just one guy voted not to. And it's because none of those elected officials want to become known as the guy who defended a pedophile. That's the ultimate political poison, I guess, in the American system. And with that, folks, if you got anything out of this, like the show, drop a comment. Comments longer than 8 words generally help the show more than shorter comments. And also, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. We just passed 20K not that long ago, and now we're on our way up to 100K. Let's keep on going. And remember, radicalize your local Dems. Make your local DSA more effective. If you need help doing that, reach out over on Discord to Dragonfly for your local Dems, Gamergy for your local DSA. And finally, last but not least, please check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, but we've also tested it with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is non-tucking lingerie, and it's wonderful. It is feminine, it is attractive, and it is comfortable. So please check it out, and link should be down in the doobly-doo. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, daily, plenty more. Your sense of fashion, you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.